Now, even though we split this in half and deleted the other side, at any time we can go back. If something is easier for us to do as a whole, we can go back and create that and then delete the other side again if we need to do some more modeling on the side. So for the collar, we could do it on just this side, but I'm going to go ahead and do it as the full model. And so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit 1 on my keyboard. And we just want to make sure whenever we create the other side of this that all the points that should be on the center line are in fact on the line. So you can see we have some that are not. So we'll go ahead and select those. I'm going to hold down X, and I've got my world axis selected for the move axis. Hold down X, and I just want to pop it over. That just snaps it to that center line if I move it in that direction. So just make sure that everything is snapped. And then to create the other side of this, all we have to do is go to Mesh, Mirror Geometry, and we want to choose the axis that we want to mirror this in this case -X. So you can see it here. Now if you have something that isn't quite merged together, you can also play around with this merge threshold, which is the value. If the points are within this value, they'll be merged together. If they're outside of this value, they'll be left alone. Okay? So if this value is too large, you're going to have things merged that you don't want to be merged. So you just need to be wary of that. Now for the collar, I'm going to go ahead and select this top loop here. And I want to kind of scale this in a little bit just so that it is sort of in the position where the base of that collar would be, or where we want that to be. So kind of coming in here and thinking about this, the position here, it's going to be sort of something like that. If we want to kind of modify this a little bit, we can do that too. Come in here, move this around a little. Okay. So once we've got the base of the collar, we want to start to extrude up the actual collar itself. So I'm going to go ahead and select both of these, this loop rather, and let's go ahead and extrude it. And let's change our axis. We'll just extrude it straight up, about to the top of where that collar is. Okay, you can come in here and rotate it a little bit. You can also just tweak the position of some of the points there if we want to get exact here. Okay, keeping in mind we are going to loop this over onto itself. Okay, now I want to have a an opening here where this collar is, and so I'm going to go ahead and take this point, and there's a few different ways that we can do this, and one of the ways is come up here, and we just got that selected. We'll go ahead and detach it, detach component, and now I can grab this and move it off to the side. Okay, I can do the same thing here. Now, because I moved these off, this one and then I moved this one, this isn't symmetrical anymore. It looks pretty symmetrical, but it's not exactly symmetrical anymore. So we need to keep that in mind as we go. We want to make sure that we, at some point, make this symmetrical again. Alright, and so once we've got this selected, we can go ahead and select this top line here. So we'll deselect the sort of V, and let's go ahead and extrude that. And this time we want to pull it out in the Z. And maybe we could pull it up in the world axis a little bit. You could change back and forth here. Let's go ahead and repeat that. And this time we'll pull it down. Okay. And if you want to go to your world axis and kind of scale it out a little bit, you can see where we are. All right. Now at this point, let's go ahead and again get back to our just one side. Okay. A lot of times it's really helpful to do that, just because if you're only looking at one side, you don't have to worry about the other side. It just makes things a lot cleaner. You can just worry about one side of it and not the other side. So now we can come in and pull these points down so that they match up a little bit better with where we have the base of that collar in our artwork. Come in here, pull that down a little bit. So something like that. Kind of pull that up slightly. Now it's very straight right now. If we were to smooth this out though, it's going to smooth out a little bit more, but we still may want to go ahead and insert an edge loop in here, and maybe also one inside here, just so it can kind of hold that shape a little bit more. Okay, so once we've got the color shaped, let's go ahead in the next lesson and take a look at making the seam, kind of pulling out the shirt, adding maybe some wrinkles and so forth. Let's go ahead and you just take a look at, again, merging this back to create its, or mirroring it back. So we can go ahead and mirror that, and you can see now it's completely symmetrical. Okay, now we don't have any thickness on the collar as yet, so what we can do would be to come in and start to select these polygons, and let me go ahead and just select those and kind of deselect everything else. And we can add some thickness that way. So we don't need to necessarily add thickness to the entire collar, or the entire shirt rather. And so we can come in here, we've got those selected. Let's go ahead and extrude, and we'll push them in to the surface. Okay, which in this case, actually, instead of extruding, which will give us one side or the other, I'm going to actually go ahead and use duplicate face, and I'm just going to kind of pull this out a little bit, give it a little bit of thickness like that, and then we can go ahead and select both of those, delete our history, combine those. I'm going to turn off two-sided lighting, and what that is going to do is going to show you which side of your objects are the outside, basically. So they're showing reverse normals, and that is the black objects that you see. So this gray object, the normals, or what Maya knows is the outside of the mesh that we're creating, is gray, and what it's thinking is the inside is black. So in this case, for the collar part, it's actually reversed, and so we need to go to normals, reverse, and so now you can see the inside on both of those is what it should be. Alright, now what we can do is come in here and connect these up. So we can go with our bridge. If you want to split this apart again into two halves, that would make things a little bit easier. And I just want to make sure I've got the right number of edges selected there. And so you can come in here now and connect that up. So we could go ahead and bridge that together. And just go all the way around and do the same thing. Okay, so once you've got that done, let's go ahead in the next lesson now and finish out some of the details that we talked about, the folds and things like that. So go ahead and do that next.